Good morning, people. Rise and shine. Wakey, wakey, wakey. Welcome to Friday. It is currently October the 3rd, 2025. Is the date the 3rd? Oh, it is. October the 3rd, 2025, people. Welcome to the Walk and Talk. Welcome to the morning. What's up? What's up? Let's get up. Let's get excited, people. Listen, it is brisk. Temperature is coming down. Guys, we've made it through the summer, the warm mornings and the pleasure. Those of us who are now headed into the colder months of the year, don't you give up. All of that fitness work you did, all of those walks and runs, it's tough. It's about to get a little tougher in the colder climates, but don't you give up. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Walk and Talk. I want to thank you for being here. My name is Oluropo, and as always, here on B&V Finance Fixers, let's get the day started with positivity, growth, development, acknowledgement, and motivation. All right, are you motivated this morning? Are you ready to go this morning? It's getting late, dude. It's the last time to escape. I mean, it's getting late. Whew. Listen, we have gotten to the last 3 months of this year. It's officially October. Let's get moving. Let's get focused. Let's get locked in. Let's get serious. This might be your last chance to escape, people. And if you're going to escape, you have to figure out how. If you want to overcome, you want to break free, you want to have to figure out how. You're going to have to start processing some information. As always, as you check in, let me know where you're checking in from, what time of day it is, where you are. It is currently 4:47 here on the East Coast of the United States. I want to thank you guys for being here this morning, joining me for this walk and talk. Let's get up. Let's have a great morning, great day. Let's be blessed. Let's put all of our powers, all of our potential towards our purpose. Let's know that we can grow and we will grow. We do not achieve our goals by mistake. We need to become drivers of our destiny and not just passengers. We need to take ownership, take control, take some steps. We're up here at the top of the hill, guys. Let me share the view with you. Thank you for waking up and being part of this walk and talk, guys. Today, when I talk about we need to take steps, we need to be intentional. Today, we're going to talk about practical, intentional steps. Good morning to everyone. Thanks for stopping in. Let's get started with this walk and talk. Guys, please let me know if there are any issues with the volume. If you can or cannot hear me, and as always, as you check in, let me know where you're checking in from, what time of day it is where you are. It is 4:50, not quite 5 o'clock in the morning, here on the East Coast of the United States. I'm out on this walk and talk. The purpose, as always, is to prepare for the day, prepare for our destiny, and pay attention to our calling. I'm in Maryland. Who is that? Bismuth? Yellow. Looks like a good channel. Thank you, Yellow. Matt and Maria. Good morning, Matt and Maria. Thank you guys for stopping in this morning. Thank you for being here. As always, guys, it's a positive place. We're here to encourage each other, to uplift one another, and start, continue, or end our day on a high note. Today we're talking about looking in the right place. We're talking about this opportunity. When I say the last chance to escape, yo, Champagne. What's going on? Yo. So, I apologize for that, guys. Not really, that's just a shout out, man. Good morning. Billy, look like a normal size Kevin Hart. I think Kevin Hart is a normal size Kevin Hart. So, everyone, thank you for being here again. Good morning, good morning. October the 3rd, man. It's getting a little bit of chill in the air up here in the Northeast. I'm not in the high Northeast, but we're kind of in that area. Champagne, don't end the stream. I'm not. I'm saying good morning. Just getting started, Champagne. You made it. We're in the first 8 minutes. It's not over yet. So, just getting my shoes tied up. So, guys, what are the things that I talk about quite a bit here? What are the things that I like to address? One of the things that I like to make sure we're doing is taking notice of our own investment in our life. Okay, just a second. So, when I talk about taking investments in our own life, when I talk about doing that, we have to start taking control. So much of what we do, and I was on a walk and talk yesterday, and I was like, hey, I was on a walk and talk yesterday. I wasn't like, hey, but I was. So yesterday, one of the things that we talked about was the difference between making things happen and letting things happen. Right? Both give you the opportunity to be successful, but when you make things happen, you are in greater control of where that success leads, what it looks like, your happiness in it. All of those things are more under your control when you do so by making it happen versus letting it happen, just watching it happen. So, like so here's the thing, like, right? So let's say you go to school, right? Everybody's go to school, get a good job, get married, graduate, get a job, get married. You got the house, got the kids, you got the 401k. You're like, I did all of this work to get to where I am, right? And now you're in your career, and so during that time, you're making things happen. In order to get your grades, you have to make things happen. You have to do some work. That's what I keep letting people know, and I keep encouraging people to understand, is that in order to make things happen, you have to have a plan, right? You have to have somewhere you're trying to get to, and then intentionally take steps to arrive there. So making things happen requires your intentional input. For a lot of us, we get to being grown, I'm done, we stop making things happen and we start letting things happen. We start allowing for what the world said life should look like, be the definition of what life looks like. And so that could be successful. You could be happy. You could, like I said, you could have the house, the cars, you can have your little retirement fund set up. You have, you have this life and you're like, okay, I'm good. Like I'm living my life and I'm enjoying it. But then there may be, and it often shows up most times in your career, right? Everybody gets to this like, I don't feel fulfilled. Like that moment that happens, oftentimes it shows up early in people's career like, oh man, I need to make more money. And so what's happening is you've started to let things happen in your life, right? And once you start to do that, you are living within the ethos, within the galaxy, the makeup, the plan. You're living within somebody else's plan. So again, you can find comfort there, but we've talked about it before. That comfort is not the space that we want to be, right? We can't get too comfortable because it kills growth. John, always stay safe, John. Thank you very much. By the way, you need to look into hustling. CSGO, what used to cost 45 pennies 8 years ago, is worth upward of $20 now. Scale that up. Really good business. All right. Thanks for the shout out, Champagne, Yellow. True that, thank you. All right, Abu said free Palestine. Thank you for stopping in, Abu, contributing. Champagne, don't make it political about issues not relevant to the channel. Yellow says, yep, the older you get, the more complacent you get. You can do that. You can get really complacent. Thank you, Babylon, for the comment. Where's the choice of turn to God? That's not a choice. That's just how you live. Yeshua. Fatih, hello. Bubba, definitely tune with the way you're speaking. Conscious creates reality. It does. Thank you very much, Bubba. Creative. Happy Friday to you too, Daniel. You don't know. Hello. Well, hello to you too. You don't know. So guys, here's the thing. I just wanted to take a moment, stop in and thank everyone, greet everyone who stopped in to be a part of the chat. When we're looking at, so this whole thing about making things happen versus letting things happen is a beginning, right? That's like a starting point of where we are and what we're talking about today, right? And what we're doing and what we're talking about today is where you're looking, right? And so the reason the thumbnail says maybe your last chance to escape is because, particularly in this year, right? I have a framework where I live my life as a business. There are a lot of elements to it financially, but there are some pretty strict elements that I've added to it in terms of just performance and systems. Having a system that allows for growth and development, right? Versus just, oh, let's see where the day takes us. Oh, let's see if we could do this. Like adding this structure to my life and my family's life has significantly increased the ability for us to but to be in the times where happiness happens, right? We had to make, because it requires intention, right? Like you go to work and companies intentionally place your break somewhere. They're like, hey, here's where your break is. Here's where you take your lunch. Here's where you have your meal. Here's where you rest. Here's like they intentionally put it in place because their focus is keeping you in the appropriate state of mind to be productive, not just busy throughout the day. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, how can I apply that to my life? Can I apply that to my life? And most certainly I could. And so I took that framework and I started to create for my family a way of living, a system of performance. So here's the major thing is, for so many people, the thought that something is structured as a system leads so many people to believe, you can't have any fun there. How do you enjoy yourself? You're taking happiness away from it. No, it does the exact opposite. By structuring your life to the point that distractions and busyness do not consume your time, you find out that you have way more time to do those things that you say are most important to you. You have way more time to engage and be with the people who you want to be with, doing the things you want to do. Because we can get caught. So here's the thing, whether you create a system or not, you're going to work within one, right? That's just the energy of the planet, right? That's the energy of existence. There's a system, right? There's this whole ecosystem that you are a part of. And then, regardless of whether or not you are engaged and driving your part of it, everything else is still happening. This is simply taking the power, the opportunity, and the drive to control your direction, your growth, what's going on with you. And that's what we're looking at today, is being intentional about our lives. I'm in Maryland. Thank you for asking. We are relearning what the men of old knew long ago. Yellow says trying to refocus on growth at the moment. Keep that focus, keep working. Lisa couldn't vote the poll as I focus on the cause, effects, and the solution. Okay. The cause and the effects, it's kind of a trick question, because when you're focusing on the solution, Lisa, the cause and effects are a part of it. It's like a math problem, right? The only wrong answer for when you incur challenges, the only wrong answer is focusing on the problem. That is the only wrong answer. Focusing on the cause helps you to identify where work needs to be done, right? That's part of finding the solution. Focusing on the effect, the impact that it has, lets you know whether or not it's even something that you need a solution to. Is it something that even needs to be addressed, right? When you face a challenge, you're like, hey, this isn't even something that I need to address. The focus on the solution will incorporate both of those things. And that's what's important. And that's what we're here to talk about this morning, is focusing on the solution. Can I increase the brightness? 1, 3, 4. I think that's as bright as it gets. Yeah, it goes off after 4. So somebody actually increased the brightness. I don't know if that was a joke about about it being dark, but there we go. Bubba, we are guards of our own personal prison. Open the door with the key. Indeed, open the door. Thank you, Falcon. What's this? Roll rulers. Eyes on the, I think that's eyes on the prize. Thomas, it's never too early, Thomas. Come on, man. It's never too early, Thomas. It's 5:04 now. We've been out here for over 15 minutes. We've been out here for like 20 minutes, Thomas. Don't you? Ain't too early. So, what are we doing? What is our focus? How are we making this happen? So again, it's about what we make happen versus what we let happen. The steps start with focusing on the right thing, people. It has to start there. And the reason it has to start there is because if you are focused in the wrong place, you can be taking actions, so many actions, but those actions are not contributory to your solution, to your outcome, to the thing you want, right? To what you're trying to achieve. This is why I say you have to prepare for anything, not everything. Because anything that is a part of your journey, you need to be knowledgeable of, you need to be prepared for, and you need to be ready to engage. But everything is going to continue to happen. Again, whether you are a part of driving your life, you are a part of life. So there is this system that is happening around us consistently. And there are these huge waves of motion. And then you're sitting there and it's going to, the motion, the currents will move you, but are they moving you to where you want to be? This is what I'm talking about, is taking some charge in the navigation of where you go, right? Now, the challenge is that, as I said before, some of these currents are going to carry you to lush, expansive shores of just happiness and joy and fun and, sunny and delight. And then some of them aren't. And then when we figure out, hey, I'm in this current and it took me to a nice place, but it didn't take me to where I want to be, is when we start to make this focus and take this change. So, what is the difference between focusing on the problem and focusing on the solution? First, let's make sure we cover and understand appropriately the difference between the problem and the solution. Thomas says, how do we walk without fear? I can cover that for you, Thomas. I mean, first you said it was too early, and then you hit the deep question. We'll talk about that. People think walking is an achievement. That is from Running Man. Walking is an achievement. I don't know what you're trying to say, Running Man. Maybe you're saying that people need to run. Well, you gotta crawl before you walk. You gotta walk before you run. You have to have a destination, or you're just running. You're just running for the sake of running. I get it. I kind of get it, but I'm still a little lost in what you're saying. Edgar says, I don't know how I came across your page. Great message. Thank you very much, Edgar. Bobby. All right, Okamaru. Did you say molasses? Only. Depends. Maybe you be about everything and then filter what you know. Then maybe some gold happens to be about knowledge. No, not homeless. Only, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that you can see everything, right? It's okay to see everything, but you need to focus and learn about anything that pertains to your goal, right? So you just said gold is knowledge. So when we're talking about that, when you look at even mining for gold, right? Everything's out there. There are other, precious metals and materials out there, but you're mining for gold. So you don't have to prepare for everything that may happen. You need to prepare for the things that are along the path of the journey that you're traveling, which is getting the gold, right? Many of these companies mine for gold, and they literally, hey, this is our land. Here's where we're mining. We're looking for gold. We're going to literally sell the rights to all the other minerals to somebody else because we don't want those. To all those other precious metals to someone else. Hey, you can come in, you can get these, you can do this. Our focus is gold, right? That's the difference between anything and everything. Now, when we start looking at how we're going to make these changes, how we're going to take these steps, it's important, as I was just saying, to be able to understand the difference between looking at the problem and looking at the solution, right? Here's a clear breakdown of looking at the problem. Complaining. Look, when we start with complaining, with explaining, with excuses, when we start with lamenting and blaming others, then that is a clear indication that we're looking at the problem, right? Because anything outward, anything outside of you eliminates your ability to be in control, right? Whenever you're looking at anything outside of you, because the solution has to come from us. The solution has to come from you. It doesn't matter what we're dealing with, even if that solution is moving, going somewhere else, taking a different action, changing course. It doesn't matter what the solution is. The solution lies in us. So whenever we start with looking outside of us and pointing out what the things outside of us, the things not under our control, when we look at them and we point at them and we talk about them, we are giving up control, because we're saying all of these things, all of these situations, all of these people, all of these concerns, my past, history, the way the world is made, the people who own the company, we are saying all of them are in control. All of those things are the reason I'm where I am. And because you cannot change any of those things, you're giving up your power to all of them. That's the first identification, the first realization that you are looking at the problem and not the solution. First step is looking at the problem. Lisa said earlier, she looks at the cause and she looks at the effect, right? Nobody else's behavior can make you do something unless they forcibly place you under their control to do so. In so many of our lives, we're not in that situation. We relent our power. We release our control to others and then complain about it. Complain about how much you get paid. Complain about how much time you don't get to see the people you want to see. Complain about the cost of living. All of these things are happening. But versus saying, hey, how do I take control and make these changes to capitalize on where I am right now? We look at those things and we complain. We get caught up in distractions that allow for us to feel comfortable, to feel justified in losing and blaming others, because we're looking at the problem and not the solution. And remember, you need to prepare yourself for anything, not everything. Because when someone else tells you that this is your problem, this is what your problem really is, look at it and then tell you there's no solution to it. Let's talk about it. They're not looking to help you move forward. It doesn't matter what it is. Hey, here's what your problem is, right? You walk up to a kid doesn't know numbers, kid doesn't know, kid barely knows shapes. You're like, hey, the problem is this, 4 times 3. This is your problem. Your problem is 4 times 3. This is what you're dealing with. And the kid's like, okay. Kid's looking at you. It's like, okay, you told me what the problem is. What next? Do you see your problem? Are you looking at the problem? Your problem is 4 times 7. Got you. Don't know what any of those words mean. I'm feeling you. I'm feeling the energy. I can see that you're trying to share something with me. What's up? Man, look at your problem. Focus on your problem. Focus on it. Look at it. Look at it. You're never going to solve it. You're never going to get a solution. You're never going to get an answer. When someone tells you that your focus needs to be your problem, you need to focus on your problems. Then they're not trying to see you grow. You're not going to grow focusing on your problems. You're not going to grow focusing on your past. You're not going to grow focusing on your pain. You're not going to grow focusing on being unhappy. It takes some input from yourself to yourself to start looking for the solution. At some point, you got to be like, hey, man, stop talking to me about my problems. Stop telling me, even if that hey, man, is to yourself, stop telling me about my problems. I don't need to keep being beat over the head with what my problems are. I need to start working on some solutions. And I get it. You're focused on the problem. That's what Lisa said. What's the cause and the effect? How does 4 get to a place where it needs to be multiplied by 3? I don't even know what shapes are. You have to start to learn. And this is what it means. This is what it means when people say many of the lessons that you need to learn on the path to your destination. You're not going to figure out 4 times 3 until you figure out what a square is, what a triangle is, what a pattern is. You need to figure those things out because our numbers and letters are just shapes. And then when you string them together, they just make words. And words make sentences. And all of this is about finding the solution. Do you understand? Here's the thing. I say this a lot. The purpose for school is to learn how to learn. That's it. There is a base requirement, educational level, in order for you to learn. And then from that point, when you establish that, the resources out there for you to teach yourself. So in school, you learn how to learn. That is the process of it. College is somebody telling you, look at this, teach yourself something. Which is why in college, they ask you so many questions about what did you get from it? What is this telling you? What do you understand? How would you respond? Because the structure of college is to take these 4 years of your life and say, hey, here's how you look at information, and then you come to your own conclusion. You come to your own realization and you take your next steps. Important, very important, because what so many people end up seeing, and there may be a few of you in here right now, you go to college, right? You go to college for 4 to 6 years, you get out, and if there isn't someone there to say, hey, your name is already on the front door, you're a part of this company, if there isn't someone there to already say that to you, then the people sitting across from you are telling you, hey, you don't have any experience. You went to school, but you haven't really lived it. You haven't really been out here. Like they made up some problems to kind of help you think them through, but you haven't lived it. You haven't been in the trenches. You haven't gone through what you need to go through. That is a major driver for development. And so when we start talking about being able to focus on solutions versus focusing on the problems, it requires for us to take the time to be able to identify the difference between the problem and the solution. Jonathan said, but it's a difficult house. Usually if the problem is overwhelming, it's difficult to them, just more forward. You tend to get stuck thinking about the problem again and again. It's a difficult issue, not a difficult house. It can be difficult. Your neighbors don't need to hear you're running their market value. My neighbors love hearing me. Thank you for stopping in. Quake says, I focus on problems. I need to find solutions. Thank you. Thank you, Quake. Now, I want to go back up earlier. I'm trying to remember who asked about how do you learn how to walk without fear? That was Thomas. How do you walk without fear? So Thomas, I don't know if you're still here, but I do want to approach that. I do want to discuss that, Thomas. The reason I want to discuss how to walk without fear is because it's very pertinent, right? It's relevant. So if you're still here, Thomas, let me know. If not, you can always come back and watch this segment later. So being able to walk without fear is, again, a focus on a solution versus a focus on a problem. But as Lisa said earlier, you need to know the cause and effect, right? And the reason you want to look at the cause and the effect is because when you look at the cause and the effect, the cause of what makes you fearful and the effect of being fearful, that being fearful has on your life, whatever that thing may be, when you look at it, you realize that you are not in either one of those two spaces to control it. The only thing that you truly control is your response to it. Excuse me. So when a person says, are you afraid of heights? And the answer is no, I'm not afraid of heights. Doesn't mean that being high or being a long way from the ground doesn't create a chemical response in them. It doesn't mean that they don't feel like the same apprehension or the same type of, jitteriness or exhilaration that others may feel. It means that they face it head on, right? So I don't expect you to come face to face with a lion. I don't expect you to come face to face with a lion and continue your normal conversation, right? I know that's not a realistic expectation. However, when someone says, man, are you afraid of lions? I'm not afraid of them. I'm not fearful of them. I'm aware. I'm aware of what a lion can do, right? Like, I'm not afraid of cars, but I know, like, walking out in the highway can result in like some catastrophic damage to this non-metallic structure that I reside in. So how do we walk without fear? Well, the key to walking without fear is walking in knowledge. That's what understanding cause and effect is. You understand cause and effect. The solution to walking without fear is to not let it control you, no matter how difficult the thing may be. We get to a point where a lot of our responses are not based on what we want or even on how we feel. So many of our fears are based on how other people feel about what we say, how other people feel about how we look, how other people feel about what happens to us, right? So we take a look at, hey, what's society's viewpoint on this thing, right? And then they're like, no, we don't do that. And now you want to do something different, and there's a fear of, what if I'm not welcome? What if I'm ostracized? What if they tell me that I'm horrible? What if they turn away from me? What if I lose the connection to my community? What if I lose the connection or the security and the safety of my tribe because I think in this way and I just want to say it. I want to be able to say it. Those types of thoughts are the things that make us apprehensive and prevent so many from taking action. But what I'm saying here is this. That's the problem. See, we're focusing on these possible outcomes that are not favorable for us. And by having those focuses on the non-favorable outcomes, we become hesitant, we become reluctant, and we become unproductive. I'm not saying that any of this is easy, right? That, like, don't get the impression that we as humans just wake up and this is built into us. It's not. right? It's not. We oftentimes view people as successful and not afraid of anything because this is the first time we've seen them. This is the only light in which we see them. This is the only experience in which we encounter them and we know them. And so we look and we see the results, right? Like you go to one of these nice restaurants and they bring the food out and you're like, man, compliments to the chef. And you're like, dude, this person can cook. You didn't see all the nights of burnt fingers and cut fingertips and nasty food. Like you didn't experience those things. And so the vision, the outcome, this thing in front of you that is so great, we have a tendency to believe that this is just what it is. And then we start looking at other people and comparing ourselves to other people. Why can't I be like that? Well, I don't do that like that. I don't know how to do that like that. And then we start making that a problem versus the solution. And the solution requires for you to have a goal. It requires for you to have something you're trying to achieve. You have to have somewhere you're going. Because otherwise, we go back to the example that I shared about the person telling you, look at your problem. Look 4 times 3, look at your problem. Look at it, look at your problem. And you don't have the faculty, you don't have the capability to be able to solve that problem, right? And they keep telling you to look at it. You don't have the tools necessary, the skills necessary to find a solution to that problem. Here's the question. Does it matter? I mean, does it matter? Don't get me wrong. Math matters. Like understanding how to add, subtract, divide, multiply, that matters. What I'm asking you is, does the answer to 4 times 3 matter? Does this problem that you're looking at matters? And not unless it leads to something. Otherwise, we're just doing things. And we all come to this realization in school. I know we all get to a point, usually it's middle school. If not middle school, definitely by high school, right? Definitely by high school, everyone's like, why am I learning this? When am I ever going to use this in my regular life? Like, what is going on? Why? Why? Why am I learning statistics? Like, why? Like, I'm not going to be an engineer. I have no desire to be an engineer or architect. Why am I learning this? We start to ask why. What did he say? Tristan said, what's multiplication? Thank you. He said the beard's majestic. It could use a touch-up, but thank you. So here's the thing. When we look at these problems and we're trying to uncover solutions, when we can identify a problem and we're seeking out a solution, solutions have to go towards a goal. Yeah, man, guys, if we don't have a goal, if we don't have something we're working towards, if you haven't found that thing that's going to drive you, then really all you have are the problems, because you're not going anywhere, right? It's just a bunch of stuff that's in front of you, but you don't have anywhere you're trying to get to. So because you're not trying to get to anything past the problems, why not just talk about the problems? Because if you stop talking about the problems, like if you don't have a plan, if you're not prepared to meet and overcome challenges, if you're not prepared to do that, then all you actually have are your problems. So what else can you do? You just got to talk about them. Man, I got problems. Well, that's because you ain't going nowhere. That's like that's like sitting at a bus stop, right? You're sitting at a bus stop and you're just mad about the buses. Man, this bus is always late. Look how many people in that bus. Like, hey man, where you going? I ain't going nowhere. I'm where I need to be. You're sitting on the bench at the bus stop complaining about all the buses. Everybody who come past be like, hey man, you seen the 16 yet? Oh man, that 16 always late. Last time I was on that 16, let me tell you what this bro did, man. I was trying to get over. Do you know what all you got is problems. Oh, you now you're unloading your problems on other people. And they were like, man, I just want to know if you've seen the 16 pass. Because if you have, I just need to get an Uber. Like, I'm just trying. Dude, when we focus on our problems versus our solutions, there's an indication at this point that we haven't built a destination large enough for us to start looking at how to get there. We're just looking at everything between us and everything else. We're just looking at what's in front of us. And we're making that our focus because we don't have anything to focus on beyond it. We don't have it. Thank you very much, Tristan. Rainy Girl says, I use math when I'm gambling. There you go. I hope it's winning math. I hope it's winning gambling for you. Big Bear said, the eyes scream AI video. Really? These eyes? These foggy, like, need to be clean glasses? All right. What is that? Big Bear? Okay, Big Bear. And then it's Big Bear problems. Now here I am focusing on problems versus on the video. Let me see. What's that? Stir Up Knowledge Entertainment says multiplication is repeated addition. It's just adding fast. The same way division is subtracting fast. Dude, so here's the thing. How do we go? Where do we go when we figure out, hey, let's start looking at solutions? Well, we have to go, as I just said, to where we're going. Like, do you have somewhere you're trying to get to? Do you have something that you're trying to achieve? What are we working on? Right? What's the intended outcome? Here's the thing, guys. We could all shape this for ourselves. We could set long-term goals, short-term goals. We can set life goals. But we have to have some type of goal in order for us to start working on a solution. Now, got a 14-year-old daughter. Got 7 children, but my oldest daughter is 14. And in talking to my 14-year-old daughter, she had her first little relationship this summer, first little boyfriend. And talking to my 14-year-old daughter, I could see coming from her that she contemplates a lot of her actions and behaviors designed to get a specific response from someone else. Like, she thinks about how to word her messages, what time to communicate, how to look, how to respond in order to get a specific response from someone so that she can then attempt to better understand or to identify where their position is in order to better be able to control the outcome of this engagement with this individual. All of this means she's looking outward to try to find stability and control of her internal being, of her emotions, of her feelings, right? So we can't control things outside of us if we haven't gotten control of what's inside of us. Listen, dude, the ability for people to achieve great things, human capacity for development and compassion and for growth is overwhelming. you have to start by looking in you for that growth that you want to see. You have to start by working on you and developing you for who you need to be. We have to look inside first. We have to stop with this approach of I'm going to do this so they do this. Watch what they do when I do this. Look at how they happen. Look at what happens when I do this. Look at what they do. Right? Because we're trying to dictate someone else's life, dictate someone else's actions, behaviors, results, and outcomes based on what we do. That does not help us. That doesn't move us forward. The potential that you possess is tied up in your ability to control what's inside of you so that you can manifest the reality in the world that you want to be in. We're all a part of the ecosystem. We're all here. And you're either managing or captaining your ship, or you're just at the behest of the current. For some of us, we're just sitting on other people's ship. Like, hey man, I'll go wherever they're going. I don't know, last couple places they've been to was pretty good. I'll accept it. I'll accept that they know better where to go and how to get there than I do. I just want to be good. Like I ain't got no major problems. I don't have any major concerns. I don't have anything that I need to change or I need to do differently. And not having those major concerns, not having those problems, not having those challenges, not having that purpose or that outlook, trying to clean these glasses, can lead to just complacency. And don't get me wrong, I've said it before, it might be a good place for you. You may be comfortable there until you're not. And that's the difference between making things happen and letting things happen. Because when you make things happen, you are working consistently towards achievement, which puts you in a space to be productive and happy. Letting things happen means that you can be happy until the circumstances change, because you're not in control of them, because you haven't laid out a roadmap. You don't have a plan, right? And because you fail to plan, because you fail to identify a destination, now things just happen to you. We have to go away from letting things happen to making things happen, and we have to stop focusing on problems and start focusing on solutions. My neighborhood is dangerous. East Side, Las Vegas. Okay. Were you here earlier, Thomas, when I said how to walk without fear? Is that why you walk with fears, because of your dangerous neighborhood, Thomas? Though, what up then? Okay, mate, hey, got a favor to ask. Okay, mate. You're trying to make things happen. Talk to me, mate. Thank you very much. E2? Traveler said you got $5 on you. I can borrow. What you trying to get? Ain't nobody, listen, don't nobody borrow no $5. Listen, you ain't gonna, listen, don't come to me lying. You ain't, listen, if you asking me for $5, you ain't borrowing. And if you gonna borrow money, don't borrow small. Don't borrow small. You're a lot less likely to get that small. You wanna hit them up, listen, you got 50? You got 50 G's, you got 5,000, I need something. Don't come at me for $5. I know I'm never getting that $5 back. Stop playing with me. American Traveler, okay, mate, I need 50, and I got like one. Yeah, man, so look, this is what I was saying this morning, man. Thank you guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for the participation. man, we have to start looking at solutions, right? Like, okay, mate, just hit me with a problem, man. I need 50, I got 1. That's a problem. It's going back to, hey, man, how do I go from 1 to 50? We have to start looking at solutions. We know, dude, I got 1, I need 50. All right, let's turn this up. That's the old line, old hip hop line. I'm trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, dime and a nickel, right? I'm trying to take what I have and multiply it. I can't look at it and say, man, I only got 15 cents if I'm not prepared to take the action to make it 50. I have to figure out, how do I turn this 15 cents into 50? What can I do to multiply this? Sometimes it's not even the money. Sometimes I have to invest the 15 cents. All right, I'm gonna take this 15 cents and get a bus ride down here, and then I'm going to borrow $5,000 to start selling bottled water. Listen, I don't know how much you gotta borrow, but this is what I do know. If we keep looking at the problem, we'll never arrive at the solution. But at least you have a goal. I have 1, I need 50. This is my goal. This is my purpose. This is what I'm working on. How do I get there? Not what are the things preventing me from getting there? What are the things that are in the way? No, how do I get there? That's what I need to figure out. I need to see the challenges. I need to see the cause. I need to see the effect, but that's not my focus. I'm only aware of that in as much as those are things that are gonna be the anything that I'm talking about. You have to prepare for anything, any of those things that are between you and your 50. Okay, man, I can't force people to sub. I got 15 seconds to make it happen. Has nothing to do with money. Oh, you talk about subs? Oh man, go live. If you ain't got enough subs to go live, keep putting up shorts. Listen, here's the thing. I'm gonna give you guys some real insight. I'm not really big on YouTube, man. I got maybe 2,800 subscribers, less than 3,000, something like that, right? American Driver says, I have a dream of $5. Keep trying. Here's what I'm trying to say to you. Okay, mate, I'm gonna give you some specific advice. You can't go live, right? Because you need at least 50 subscribers, right? You're about exposing stuff. Here's what you do. Here's the thing about shorts. Shorts are great. YouTube pushes shorts. Most people who watch shorts, they see enough of them, they'll subscribe to a channel. You will get a lot of subscribers through shorts, even if you're just remixing other people's shorts. If you guys take your time and you look at the shorts that you see, many of the content, much of the content does not come from the individual who you're seeing in the content. Much of the content has been downloaded, turned into a clip, AI mixed, posted to another channel. Hey, you like it, you subscribe. You think you're subscribing to that person, their channel. You're not, you're subscribing to something else. Listen, if you want to get to the point where you can go live, you need like 50 subscribers and then like a couple of days for them to turn it on. You want to get 50 subscribers? Put up shorts. Put up shorts about anything. Just get shorts, because you're just trying to get 50 people in there. Once you get 50 people in there, then go on, start exposing. Start spreading light. Turn your live on and be like, yo, I'm exposing. Look at this. Look, could you look at this? Somebody look at this. Look at this. Y'all know, y'all know that Kevin Hart audio that they use? Yeah, that's what you do. Matter of fact, do your shorts using that. Do a whole bunch of shorts where you're exposing things with the Kevin Hart audio. Man, look at this. Look at this. Come here, look at this. Look at this. Will somebody look at this? Do that. You get 50 people in there, then you go live. That's practical. That's not, hey, I'm telling you, you can get 50 subscribers like that. You can get 50 subscribers like, you can just remix Kevin Hart, or any comedian you like. You just find their videos, green screen remix it. I'm serious, do a collab. You get 50 before you know it. You hit 50, you start going live. The more you go live, the more consistent you are with going live, the more consistent you are on staying on topic and speaking to your message, the more people you're gonna find. Now, the people you find in your live who subscribe to your channel, subscribe to you. They subscribe to your content. They subscribe to what you're speaking to, right? So I'm not looking at a problem now, I'm handing out this solution. When people subscribe to your channel, they subscribe to you. When people subscribe to their shorts, they subscribe to the content. Those two different things are different. The people who subscribe to your short may never come back to your channel again. They're just looking for another short. Right? So they're just looking for the next short. If you have consistent shorts that show them the same thing, then they're gonna keep looking at the same thing. If, however, you are consistent with who you are and you start going live and you're sharing your message consistently, you can grow the channel from there. I was able to find solutions for channel growth because I found a space where I'm actually at, who I actually am, how I'm actually living, and there seemed to be an audience for it. That's all. Like, I'm not making up anything. I'm not creating any stories. I'm not like, I don't have like any backing. I don't have a big studio. Like, I try to sit down and make videos. Some of them have been challenging. But what I found is that most of my subscribers come from speaking directly to what's relevant to me and what impacts them. So if you want to grow your channel, that's my recommendation. I'm not a big YouTuber guy. I don't have millions of followers. I'm not even monetized yet. But if you want to grow your channel and you want to go live, start by creating shorts. Put the shorts out there. The shorts will get you to 50. Doesn't matter whether or not those 50 people come back and actually follow your channel or if they come back and watch. But when you get the subscribers, that just allows for you to kick to the next level. And once you start posting videos and doing lives, then you start reaching your core audience. And YouTube wants you to be successful. The more consistent you are with your message, the more people YouTube will put you in front of who they believe relate to or connect with your message. This thing of, hey, YouTube doesn't want me to be successful, doesn't make sense. The more money you make, the more money they make. Listen, if you can make $1,000 from doing something, how much do you think the company who's letting you do it is gonna make if you make 1,000, right? That's what you do. You just gotta grow. Okay, mate, keep doing your thing. Where are you at, okay? Are you over in the UK? Check out my boy Fable. He's over there, he did it. Same thing. Started posting, just putting his stuff up. My wife did the same thing. Check out our family page, The Baby Birds. The Baby Birds, it gets a look behind the scenes into our actual life, how we live, how we enjoy time with each other, spending time with the kids. Just celebrated my birthday this past weekend at Virginia Beach. So having this real life experience, I can share it with you that way. My wife had a monetized channel before I even created one. My wife was able to develop a channel and started and then got it monetized before I was even close. I'm not even there yet. Why am I sharing this? I'm simply sharing that that's a real life thing, mate. All right, I just want you to know. Yep, Baby Birds spelled with a Y. All right, and let me see, Aussie. Okay, Aussie, you're down there with my man, The Greater Conversation. That's Rich. I used to call him Phil all the time. He was like, dude, like, I was like, I don't even know any Phils. All right, Lori said, God bless you. I pray Jesus watches over you and blesses you and keeps your heart pure in Jesus' name. Thank you for the blessing. Not a problem, man. Not a problem. Not a problem. Okay, mate. Here's the thing. And guys, what are we talking about today? The whole conversation today has been about being able to identify a solution versus looking at problems. The reason it's important to be able to identify a solution versus looking at problems, the reason that it's important to be able to identify solutions versus looking at a problem is because if we spend too much time looking at our problem, we are never going to figure out how to get where we're going. And if we don't have somewhere we're going, then our problem is our destination. If you are living in your problems, if your problems are what give you the energy to get up and to move, if you're driven by, oh man, I got problems, you got to change it. Because your focus is your problems. And then you will only do as much as necessary to deal with your problems. We need to transition from looking at our problems to finding solutions, but we can only find solutions if we have somewhere we're trying to go, if we have somewhere we're trying to get to. Mate said, you need to be the problem analysis, the motives. You need to be the problem analysis, the motives. See from all possible perspectives. You need to be able to see, and I said this earlier, you need to be able to see that all solutions come from within you, right? The problems are simply the things that are in the way of where you're trying to go. Again, if you are not going anywhere, if you don't have anywhere you're trying to go or anything you're trying to do, then your problems are all you have, right? So I'm trying to find the right way to put this. Earlier I shared, for a lot of us, we don't know we have a problem until we have a problem, right? For a lot of us, we don't understand or we don't identify a problem until it actually becomes one, because we're just letting life happen. And so the things that we wanted to see, some of them gets checked off, and then we stop living. We stop setting goals, and we're like, I've made it, I'm grown, I've made it. And then you're good until something happens, till something changes, and you're not, and now you have problems. And now you start looking at your problems. You start looking at, oh man, this is this way. Now you start placing blame. Now you start looking back and complaining about the thing you did then, the time you went left, when you should have went right, the time you zigged, when you should have zagged, and you're focusing on the problem and not the solution. The solution is understanding and deciding you have somewhere you want to be. I don't care if it's in a relationship. I don't care if it's in a business. I don't care if it's on your job. You must identify where it is you want to be. You have to come up with a destination. And then when you arrive at having a destination, knowing that there's somewhere you want to be, there's somewhere that you're going, now you can start taking behaviors that work towards a solution. You can start taking steps that are a part of the solution, because you're not just focused on where you are or what you're going through or what's happening. You're focused on where you're going, how you're going to get there, and what you can do to make it happen. This is within our ability to do, to control ourselves, and to produce, to help produce the outcome that we're looking for. We are not powerless, people. What is this? This says, where you at? I'll show up solution. I'll run games. What's that, Asa? You can't run gang on YouTube chat. I hear you though, that's funny. Thanks for dropping in. What's that, Silamus? I took a, don't share that on live, dude. Thank you, Musa. Okay, it's like a pick a path book. Read all possible outcomes and choose the best decision. Exactly. Used to love those when I was young. Gang, no lane. Okay. What are you, like 7? That's gotta be like a 7-year-old. All right, anyway, Black says, You're Kevin Hart if he had testosterone. You guys are insane. Hey, look guys, I want to say thank you for everyone for dropping in this morning. I want to thank you for being on the walk with me. I appreciate the contribution. I thank you for being here and supporting. Please like, comment, share. Also, take a look at the page. Take a look at some of the content that's out. We're very positive here at BNV Finance Fixers. The focus here at BNV Finance Fixers is to help build legacy through discipline and a focus on self-awareness and self-accountability. That process starts with discipline. Once we are monetized, we're going to have the ability to be able to offer a lot of other areas to support and help grow and help navigate. So for you guys, I want to say once again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting everyone who contributed. Thank you. I'm here between 4:30 and 6:30 in the morning, Monday through Saturday. Sunday's my family day. So Laurie says, he does look like a taller cat. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you. Okay, mate. Everyone else who stopped in. Hey guys, remember there are 4 pillars to discipline. It's repetition that has to be coupled with patience, in which you learn and practice your skills and develop your tools. And that's going to lead to consistency, which is where you make a plan and then you track your growth as you go. And finally, it's going to be perseverance. Perseverance works on you. Perseverance is the thing that makes you who you need to be so you can see what you want to see. And now with that, I want to just let you guys know, keep showing up, keep blowing up, keep growing up. Until next time, guys, God bless.